Hello, I'm joined by our second Labour leadership hopeful, Emily Thornberry. Welcome.
Hello.
To the pre-interview where basically I'm going to talk to you whilst George, who is a caricature artist, will be drawing a caricature of you.
This makes me very nervous.
Don't get nervous. And the one thing I said to one of your colleagues last week was caricatures always give you a big nose. It's just what they do. So don't be offended.
Sorry.
Just they give me big lots of things, I think.
Right, so are you ready? I'm going to ask you a few questions and then at the end we will reveal. All right, so what 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
I'm hyperactive.
Hyperactive?
I am hyperactive. I'm tough. And I think I'm funny.
Yeah. So could you just give me an example of hyperactivity?
I just never stop. I am like a Duracell bunny.
How much do you sleep at night?
I'm here with Annie, who's in her 20s. They have to do it in shifts to keep up with me, basically. If I'm out on the road, then they do it for a couple of days and then they go off and have a rest and then the next one comes on.
And you're still awake?
And I'm still going,
So you're a trained lawyer. You got yourself to the bar and practised as a criminal barrister for 20 years before becoming an MP.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is to have experience outside politics?
I think it's really important. I think that it gives you, having a hinterland just makes you more grounded. I mean, I'd only been in Parliament, I think, 3 times before I was elected, so there are disadvantages. I got completely lost for the first few weeks, months, until someone pointed out the obvious, which is when you're on a long corridor, you're running parallel to the river, and when you're on a short corridor, you're not. And to remember the colours of the carpet. So if you're on a green carpet, then you're in Parliament, you're in the House of Commons, and if you're in a red carpet, panic because you're in the Lords and you'll get lost forever. These are the things that you learn.
You would have got otherwise. And is there anything about being a barrister itself?
I think I can assimilate large amounts of information. I can put them in a logical way. The type of barrister I used to work with juries. So my job was to paint pictures, to tell stories, to talk about what motivates people, that sort of thing. There wasn't a great deal of kind of strict law in it. It was more about people.
What's the worst job you've ever done?
I cleaned out loos on Townsend Torreston on the Free Enterprise 3, which was a boat that went to Zeebrugge, so it was quite rough. And, of course, all the little children who used to get seasick would go into the ladies' loos. And there was one time when every single sink was full of sick, every loo was full of sick, every sick bowl was full of sick, and I was standing there leaning on my broom, and this child came running in, and as they ran to the sick bowl, he was sick 3 times on the floor. And I just ththought, I know I'm well paid.
It's not like being in Stranger's Bar on a Saturday night.
I am the life and soul of after a party. I can clear up anything.
and I think I heard once that you sold ice creams in theatres.
I sold ice creams on Evita. So I can sing Evita from beginning to end. I know it really well.
Can you?
Yeah.
Didn't you train properly to be a singer? Do you still sing now?
No. I was in a church choir. So Mrs. Savage taught me to breathe and to project without my ever knowing that I had been taught to do so. So when people say, how do you manage to fill a hall without a microphone? I don't know, I can just do it.
Listen, you might think this is unfair, but some critics have called you a champagne socialist. But you've described a pretty tough childhood. Do you think that label is unfair?
I think that I'm successful, and I don't make any apologies for that. But I had a fairly tough time getting there. So my careers teacher at school said, when I asked him what I could do with my life, he said I could always visit people in prison. And in a way I did, but not really in the way that he expected me to. I became a lawyer and I represented people in prison. There was very low expectations of me. I failed my 11 plus. I came from a council estate. I had this dad who would kind of fly in occasionally, almost literally, and sort of take us off places and say, what are you doing with your life? And then go away again. So it was kind of confusing.
Were you close to him?
No, I was very close to my mum. Probably of all of his 6 children, I was the closest to him, but I don't think I was particularly close, no.
Some have criticised Jeremy Corbyn for not landing blows during the election campaign. And he, when we've asked him about this, has often said he doesn't want to kind of be personal or attack people. I mean, you have been direct once or twice. You called Donald Trump an asteroid of awfulness. I think you spoke here about Theresa May stamping her kitten heels. You don't shy away from that kind of approach. Do you think that is what a leader needs to do?
I think you just need to talk like people talk. and you need to talk from the heart, and you need to find a way of being able to communicate with people. And whilst, you know, politics is not, you know, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. It is about the policies. I think that you still need to not shy away from when people are letting down the country, saying that they're letting down the country and why they're letting down the country.
You've previously sometimes objected to questions that you call kind of pub quiz questions.
Yeah.
None of them today, yet. And you don't think that a male politician gets the same kind of treatment? I mean, do you think that you face a tougher time as a woman?
Yeah.
In what ways?
I think you have to kind of, with a man, they kind of go, oh, yeah, right, he's a politician. And with a woman, you somehow or other have to prove it first, you know, so...
So there's like an extra hurdle.
Yeah, there's an extra hurdle, you know, so there's an extra hurdle in terms of, oh, yes, well, he's a leader, she has to prove it. You know, so, yeah, I mean, and you have to be perfect, and nobody is.
So if I promise you I'm going to ask questions like these to Keir Starmer, can I ask you a couple?
No.
They're not the sort you're talking about. I want to know who would play you in a movie of your life.
Oh... Somebody who will bring out my sort of 6-foot blonde goddess. Because that's who I am deep down. Someone with really long legs, longer than I'm actually tall, you know, somebody like that. So I'm not fussy otherwise.
What does your perfect Sunday look like?
Probably it's part of a weekend away. So when I get a weekend off, I go away with my other half. Sometimes I go with my kids and we stay somewhere, so I don't worry about how messy the house is and how I ought to be sorting it out and, you know, getting things fixed and so on. So we just have a weekend off, and we tend to go to a town that we've never been to before, and we go to the, you know, the town museum, and we go for a walk.
Is there a place you like most in the country?
I like the South Downs.
OK, I've got you one final question. George, is that OK? And then we'll get the big reveal. You supported Jeremy Corbyn's leadership. Let me ask you what frustrated you about his leadership.
I think what frustrated me about Ed Miliband was that when a decision needed to be made, he quite often wanted to have another policy paper. When a decision really did need to be made, and he would put it off and he would kind of want to have a look at it all round. And I think Jeremy, when a decision needed to be made, would quite often want to be consensual and want to bring people along with him. And again, the decision needed to be made, and that was quite frustrating. And I understand where he was coming from, and that's absolutely his personality, as it was with Ed Miliband. But there are times when you just have to make a decision and get on with it.
Very good. Are you ready, George?
I think
ready
we're
for
about
this?
there, yes.
OK.
Here we go.
Ready for the reveal? Just drawing you a quick chocolate flake, all right.
A quick chocolate flake. Here we go.
There you go.
Ta-da!
Very good.
Oh, that's nice. Is that... Oh, that's Donald Trump as an asteroid.
Donald Trump as
You've
an
got a Trump asteroid over
Can
here.
you explain it, George?
You've got your ice cream selling over here. Oh, I almost forgot. Quickly, there is... That's you singing the words to a victim, you see, in your choir garb. And that's you being hyperactive while cleaning the toilets.
Is that sick?
That's whatever you want to make it.
That's great. Well done, George.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Very good, very good.
Thank you both very much.
All right.
Bye.
Very good.
Cool. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.